You ever make a mistake and have that split-second thought, should I own up to this or can I just let it slide? Yeah, we've all been there. Today, we're going to dive right into that really complex, kind of fascinating, and sometimes super messy relationship between our mistakes and our honesty. So, first things first, let's get our key term on the table. The source material for this explainer kicks things off with the word of the day, and it's a good one: veracity. It basically just means truth or accuracy, the quality of being truthful. This is the idea we're going to be playing with the whole time. That honesty right at the heart of how we deal with our screw-ups. Okay, so keeping that definition in mind, let's make this personal. The source asks a really simple but powerful question. How do you react when that light bulb goes off and you realize, oh man, I was wrong? What's your gut instinct? Seriously, think about it for a sec. Because that knee-jerk reaction, that's where this whole story really begins. And that gut reaction, it leads every single one of us to this critical moment. The source describes it perfectly as a fork in the road. It's that one crucial choice we all have to make right after we've messed up. We all know this feeling, right? That little sinking in your stomach, that one simple word that just flashes in your mind, oops. It's this universal moment of realization. But what we do in the seconds after that oops, well, that's what truly defines the outcome. And this is where that fork in the road leads. You got two main options. On one side, you can own it. You repair the issue right now. You build on solid ground. On the other side, you can hide it. But that means you're risking it coming back to haunt you later. And you're essentially choosing to walk on some pretty shaky ground. The source is really clear here. Owning the big mistakes isn't just about today. It's about making sure your future isn't built on something unstable. But what happens if we do choose that second path, if we try to hide it? Well, the source has this really powerful metaphor for it, the tsunami effect. It perfectly describes the crazy, cascading consequences of trying to bury a significant mistake. And here's how that chain reaction gets going. It starts with just one thing, the initial error. Simple enough. Then comes step two, the decision to hide it. But from there, all these unforeseen complications just start to tumble in, one after another. And before you know it, you are living in a much, much messier world. The point is, hiding one problem doesn't solve it. It usually just creates a bunch of new ones. Okay, but let's be realistic for a second. Do we confess every single little slip-up? Of course not. And the source totally gets that. This brings us to a more nuanced part of the discussion, navigating that gray area of the mistakes we just decide to live with. And the core idea here is actually pretty simple, but it's also profound. We pick our battles. Every day, we're all making these little conscious choices about which smaller mistakes we're willing to carry with us without, making a whole big thing out of them. So what kind of mistakes are we talking about here? Well, it's usually the small stuff, right? Things that don't really involve other people, or maybe mistakes that get brushed off for what we tell ourselves is the greater good. And here's something interesting the source points out. Our ideas about which mistakes are okay to hide are often shaped by pop culture. I mean, think about that charming rogue in a movie who gets away with a white lie. We see that, we internalize it, and it can subtly start to shift our own moral compass on these little things. But here is the fascinating part about these little mistakes we don't resolve. They don't just vanish. The source uses this great phrase for it. We chew on it. It's like this inner monologue where we mentally replay the error. We're not just wondering if we should have done things differently. We're kind of testing its weight. Is this something I can really live with? Does it still feel right? It's this constant low-level negotiation with ourselves. Now, this process, this chewing on our mistakes, it isn't just some idle habit. It's actually fundamental to who we become. And that leads us to our final and maybe most important idea, how we are literally forged by our flaws. And this right here is the big takeaway. The source gives us this pretty surprising insight that internal reflection, that constant chewing on our unresolved flaws, is what ultimately helps build and solidify our character. It's in that wrestling match with our own imperfections that we really define who we are. It's a powerful thought, isn't it? To wrap all of this up, the source has a fantastic quote of the day that just perfectly captures this whole theme. The truth doesn't need a spotlight, it glows on its own. So what does that really mean? It means genuine honesty, real veracity. Doesn't need a big performance or a loud defense. When something is truly authentic, it just proves itself, quietly, over time. It's a great reminder that truth has its own kind of power. And that brings us to one final question I want to leave you with. After everything we've talked about, the big mistakes we own up to and the small ones we just chew on, Which mistake for you still shapes who you are today?